I'm just going to wait about another minute or two just in case someone else shows up. This is actually going to be kind of short, and it's a little show and tell. But if you have suggestions also, you know, I'm not an expert on Audition by any means. I just have worked with different audio programs in the past, and so Audition is like, man, it's got everything. Oh, we've started recording now. Cool. No worries, Heather. That's fine. All right. Well, let's start. Hello, my name is Victor Villegas, Technology and Media Support Coordinator at Oregon State University Extension. Also part of ACE and ACE member. He used to be on the board, but now taking a little respite from that. Anyways, we're going to be talking about working with audio and video and kind of fixing up noise. This actually came about from a request that I had from another ACE member who I met at the conference, Devin White, I believe at West Virginia. He said he had some audio that he was having some problem with. They recorded, and of course they were trying to edit it after it, and they couldn't go back and videotape again. So he sent me the file, and I worked with it and fixed it up and sent it back to him. And he said that was great. It was a definite improvement. And so I thought this would make a good case example for other folks to learn. So let me share the screen here. I'm using Adobe Audition here, but there are other programs that do similar things. So let's open up the file. This is the video file that he sent me, an MP4. And let me change the preferences here so you can all hear audio via Zoom, because right now it's only coming out through my Yeti microphone. Zoom audio device. All right, so here's the file. And we're not hearing because I didn't share that. Let me stop the share. Share again. Share computer sound. That's what I need. Move this out of the way. All right, here we go.
So the work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and combined with.
So if you can hear that audio there. Oh, you can barely hear me? Sorry about that. I can move my mic closer. How's that? This better? Testing, test. Oh. Sherry, can you hear me? Excellent. Yeah, it'd be important to actually hear me talking in a webinar about using audio, right? All right, so how about the audio from this file here? Can you hear that pretty clearly?
The work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and combined with the special regs that we have from the DNR, are a huge draw and a huge benefit for our usability of the strain, right?
So if you can hear that, there's a kind of a little bit of a hum. There's some like digital noise back there. I want to see if I can find some other areas that might be a little bit more.
Just really pays off for me personally, and for Greenbrier County and the area as a whole down here. So the work that.
Yeah, it's mainly at the beginning. There's quite a bit.
Out of the upper parts of Second Creek, all of that.
But even there's some sections, if you can hear that.
Of Second Creek, all of that riparian mitigation.
So, how do we go about fixing this? Well, there's a really cool tool in Audition here. And let me zoom into a certain section. So what I want to do is analyze a section where there's silence, where he's not talking. So there's a big section right here. Let me zoom into that. So this is kind of this section right here. These big chunks is where he's talking, and this is the pauses in between, or in between the words.
We have from the DNR are.
So if we just select just this section right here and play and make sure that our loop is selected here. You can tell that his voice is not on there, but you're hearing that digital noise in the back with some hiss. Okay, so that's kind of what we're trying to reduce. So we're going to choose that section there and then go up to Effects, Noise Reduction, Capture Noise Print. And so what's doing, it's creating a digital print of this section with all the frequencies in there. And then we're going to go and zoom out to the whole clip, because we don't want to just affect just that one area. We want to affect the whole clip. Select it all by double clicking. Go back to Effects and go to Noise Reduction Process. So it's going to take that noise print that we captured and it's going to filter that. And you get this dialog box that comes out. And here we can actually listen to what the effect is.
So the work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and
okay, so you can still hear some of that, but we can change some of the parameters here. So we're going to change a little bit higher percentage on the noise reduction, and then here is by how many dBs it does it. So let's try that.
Combined with the special regs that we have from the DNR.
It's a little bit better.
Are a huge draw and a huge benefit for our usability of the stream, right? If we didn't have.
Okay, so you're starting to see or hear the difference there. Now it's getting to the point where, you know, if we put it 100%, it will take it.
This section of stream as fly fishing only and catch and release. I simply wouldn't be able to.
But then it starts affecting some of the voice itself. So you just have to kind of play with this. And sometimes you have to take multiple prints.
The guide here, because we wouldn't have any fish. And if we didn't have the habitat projects that the Conservation Agency has done, not just in the fly fishing only area, but in the entire watershed, and fencing all of the cattle out of Kitchen Creek, fencing.
Okay, so that wasn't the best print to do, so let's undo this. And sometimes this is a little bit of a hit and miss type thing. You have to find the best area to actually grab that, and like I say, sometimes you have to do multiple passes. So let's see if I can find a larger area.
As a whole.
Okay, let's try that section first here. Go back into Effects, Noise Reduction, Capture Noise Print, and then select all, Effects, Noise Reduction Process. Let's listen to that.
So the work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and combined with the special regs that we have from the.
Okay, that did some on the hiss, not so much on the hum. So I'm going to just a little bit more here.
The DNR are a huge draw and a huge benefit for our usability of the stream, right? If we didn't have this section of stream as fly fishing only and catch and release.
Okay, there's some smoothing here. Do that.
I simply wouldn't be able to guide here because we wouldn't have any fish. And if we didn't have the habitat projects that.
Okay, so I'm going to go with that one for right now. And let's search another area. Let's say what's this section here?
Are a huge.
Yeah, there's definite some digital stuff there. So let's select that area. Do another capture noise print. Select all. Noise reduction process, and let's listen to that.
With the special regs that we have from the DNR are a huge draw and a huge benefit for our usability of the stream, right? If we didn't have this section of stream as fly fishing only and catch and release, I simply wouldn't be able to guide here because we wouldn't have any fish. And if we didn't have the special regs that we have from the DNR are a huge draw and a huge benefit for our usability of the stream, right? If we didn't have this section of stream as fly fishing only and catch and release, I simply wouldn't be able to guide here because
like that.
are a huge draw and a huge benefit for our usability of the stream, right? If we didn't.
And let's select another section.
As a whole.
Hey, Victor, this is Brooks.
Yeah, Bruce.
So you are essentially, you're adding, you're not undoing, so you're adding, this is like the third layer you're putting in here, right? Or third.
Correct.
Layer.
That is correct. Yeah, sometimes it takes multiple ones. It's not just one and done. Sometimes you luck out and the file, you know, the hum is just like specific, a very specific frequency, and that's easier. This has all kinds of issues, and this one's not going to be perfect because it does have it's not just hum and hiss, there's, you know, clicks and pops and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm trying to improve it. One thing I did suggest after cleaning it up, you can actually, since he's at like a stream, I recommend putting like a little background of either like music or just a recording of just water bubbling as a background sound. So it didn't sound so processed. Does that make sense? Because if you just have just the audio itself, just the talking, you might be able to tell when something's been overly processed, and just putting a secondary audio will help mask that to a certain extent. Oh, that was trying to do it to just that section versus all of it. So undo that. There we go, process. Okay, here we go.
So the work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and combined with the special regs that we have from the DNR, are a huge draw and a huge benefit for our usability of the stream, right? If we didn't have this section of stream as fly fishing only and catch and release, I simply wouldn't be able to guide here because we wouldn't have any fish. And if we didn't have the habitat projects.
It's a little bit hard to hear it in here. I don't know if it's actually coming across. Let me show you what the first one. Open recent. So actually, let me save this as a separate file so I don't save over that one. Save as. And this saves it just the audio file. It's not saving the video, so you'll have to import it back into your video editor and sync up the audio again. So I'm closing that file, going back and opening it up the video one. That's the original. And here is the let's see which one of these is the ones that I actually cleaned up, which was this one right there. Okay. So this is the original.
So the work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here.
And after doing the processing, this is what I ended up with.
So the work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and combined with the special regs that we have from the DNR, are.
You should be able to hear the definite difference there, right? And you can see right in the sections in between the parts where he's actually talking that those areas have actually been reduced, right? So I found out there's another way of doing reductions, like with clicks and pops. I believe I heard of a couple of them here.
This section of stream.
This line right here. Here, move towards center.
If we didn't have huge benefit for our usability of the stream, right? If we didn't have stream as fly fishing only and catch and release, I simply wouldn't have stream as fly fishing only and catch and release.
Oh, there it is.
Habitat project.
So if you see, there's a little like spike right here. You can see it in the spectrum. And this right here, if you don't have it when you open up your file, if you grab where it has the two little arrows, you grab that up, that will actually show you the spectral analysis of the audio file itself. And you see this little fine line right here, that's actually a click.
The habitat project.
You can go in there, and I'm using the marquee tool here, rectangle, but it's very similar like Photoshop. You can use the lasso tool, the marquee tool. You can actually go right in there and select that section. There's a tool under favorites. It's auto heal. It's just similar to Photoshop when you're auto healing imperfections, and it's sampling the areas around it to kind of match that. So let's do the auto heal. And you see it kind of got rid of that right there. Let's see if what we can hear the difference.
The habitat project.
So it got rid of that click that was there before. Let's see if I can find another one.
Area, but in the entire water.
Do any of you actually work within Audition or maybe Premiere?
Just really
click somewhere there. Okay, awesome.
That's been done. Just really pays work that's been done. Just
so right here, and you can actually see it. The click right there. It's a little thump. See that spike right there?
Just
yeah. So there's again multiple ways of doing this. One way you can actually go into right here, and then just reducing the decibels is like a really quick way of doing it. And see how that reduced it.
Been done. Just
it's still in there, but it's a lot less.
Done. Just
so we can kind of go in there again. Oops. use the marquee tool. It's right about here. Auto heal. And see how kind of got rid of it there. Let's go back. Oh, click.
That's been done just really pays off.
So there's a definite, down on there, but it's not as obvious as when, you had the click. So there's a little drop in volume. But
That's been done.
And that when you're using other audio underneath, either the, sound of the stream in the background or some music, usually covers that up. Any questions or suggestions? Like I said, I'm not the expert at this. I was just thought I'd share what I've been learning lately. Nope. Everyone's so quiet. I don't even get to see you guys on screen.
Hey, Victor, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now I can.
Hey, this is Davin.
Hey, Davin. Oh, there you are. You're the one that sent me the file.
Yeah.
How did that work out? Did you use a secondary audio underneath that original one?
I did, yeah. What I was able to do is, like you had suggested, kind of have the stream underline that second piece of audio. There were a few other things that I did. I made sure, because this clip that Victor had sent back to me, it did sound a little bit different than some of the cleaner audio that I had from Jacob. That's who's speaking in this clip. And it sounded a little bit different, but it sounded just worlds better than what I'd sent you. So I made sure to separate it from other clips of audio that he had given me.
Right.
And I also made sure that when the video was running, as I ran this audio, the only video I had was B-roll. So it wasn't like you're getting a different sensation when he's talking to you on camera, because his voice sounds different.
So you're kind of expecting that almost to be, it's a different camera, different day, even though it wasn't, but the B-roll is, no one knows the difference, right?
And then I was making sure that the, this audio wasn't like abutting any other audio of him talking. I had music on either end. That was, so I had music lead in, then I had this audio that Victor sent me, and then I had music on the other end as well with B-roll. So I kind of separated it from, the other pieces, but ultimately I think it ended up working just fine. And it was a good save. What he had said, what he was saying to me was something I really wanted to use and I was struggling with before, we were able to get this audio worked with. So thank you, Victor, for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, you're doing processing on the file, so it is going to sound different. It can sound better, but like Devin says, by itself. But if you have some other audio that's kind of around it, you will hear a difference. And it's just, you have to do, little tricks to kind of mask it, and whether it's visually or with some secondary audio and whatnot. So, great.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, Victor, real quick. I do unfortunately have to leave in a few minutes to pick up my son, but I'm going to be able to use this kind of extended video we did with the clip that you'd sent me. It's going to be used and shown at a banquet for this conservation district, which is Greenbrier Valley, on September 26th. So I'm going to be able to show it in that capacity, and looking forward to it.
Cool. Thanks for the update on that. Glad we were able to salvage.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big help. And thanks again for today's webinar. Sure.
Bruce, do you have any, or David? I know both of you guys work.
I like, it's a good reminder. I haven't done some of that in a while. A lot of times I just throw a filter on and play with that. And that works, but if you only have one problem, like a hum or one issue you're trying to filter out versus you have so many things going on in that clip. It's crazy.
Yeah, it took me probably a good 20 or 30 minutes to finally, fix that one up. But yeah, talking about hums, so there's, let's see, if there's this effects rack. If you don't have that, you can go into effects, show effects rack, and you can add layers of different effects. So one thing, if you're dealing with a specific hum, you can actually go to, what is it? It wasn't the D. Well, yeah, so there's dehummers, I guess is what they call them, at specific frequencies. And so if you know it is a 60 hertz hum from like fluorescent lights, you can choose this specifically and then filter for that. Or if there's like really low hums, you can actually go in and create, let's see here. I've never actually created my own one, but there's supposed to be a way of, okay, where is it? Well, that one I'll have to actually go back and relearn how to do it. There's a way of drawing it where you can actually take the bottom end right here and just completely cut it off. So I guess one way of doing it, you can go in and just select on the spectral analysis right here. This gives you the different frequencies. The high frequencies are up on top, low frequencies on the bottom, and you can go in and actually just select those lower level frequencies. That's where a lot of the hums are, and just reduce them decibel wise.
Wind noise too on a microphone.
Yeah, right.
Down here, and combined with,
of course, it takes a lot of the bass off of his voice, unfortunately, but there's compromises, right? You tweak it one place and it affects something else. So it's really tough when you have multiple ones, but it is possible, as I did show you what I ended up with. Again, let me play the original.
The work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and
then go back to the fixed version.
So the work that the West Virginia Conservation Agency has done down here, and combined with the special regs that we have.
And you can definitely see the difference there. It's cutting out a lot of sound. And there's just a bunch of junk all around here. So anyways, something to play around with when you get a chance. There's tons of things on here that I'm still learning about. There's a click remover. It works for like certain clicks. It doesn't work for all of them, I found out. Sometimes it's easier just to do it manually like I did, and just go zoom into it and just reduce the dBs on that specific one. Any questions, comments? That's pretty much it.
Could you guys say again which effect helps with wind on a microphone?
Depending on the frequency. So I would use the first technique. Now this is something to keep in mind when you're recording, when you're doing video, is to always record ambient tone. So before anyone speaks, just record like a whole minute of just what would be considered silence, but we know that, there's still ambient sound. So in the ambient sound, you'll hear the hiss and the hums of the room or wherever you're at. And then you can take that section, let's say that's this section right here. Okay, and then we can go into the effects, noise reduction, capture noise print. So it's going to capture that wind noise. That's typical, you know, just the ambient noise. And then go back and put it noise reduction. And then play around with these settings right here. And you can check the audio. If you put it in a loop, it will just do it just that section. See, this is the actual sound right here, and this is a reduction, so there's a big difference here.
If you're looking for a really quick way to fix that wind noise, just a low cut type filter, anything that cuts the lower end, a lot of times will remove the rumble.
Yeah, so you can do that in the so oh, here it is. This is the FFT filter. So if you want to do a low cut, you can actually, oops, this is the one I want right here. And all these right here on the effects rack are not actually applied until you actually hit apply. So you can, you know, stack these different ones. So I'm going to turn this one off, leave that one on. And
the special regs that we have from the DNR are
select all and apply.
That we have from the DNR.
I have a lot of low hum on this one, so you can't see that, but or hear it. But that's one way of doing it. Where's that again? Filter and EQ. You also have your graphic filter. So these are your low ones on this end, and then your high frequencies, middle frequencies. Voice is going to be right about right here. This will get rid of some of that wind noise down in these frequencies right here. All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, that's about it. Just thought I'd share what I've been learning. And if you guys have any other tips, feel free to share them. I've been looking at some YouTube videos that I think might be helpful. Where do you think that would be a good place to share that with all you folks?
All I hear is crickets.
Yeah. It's tough doing this when you can't hear and see people. I don't want to spam everybody on email. And I heard something about there being some forums now on the website. Heather, are you online? No, I guess not. She just started the recording and then stopped. There's some forums supposedly on the ACE website. So I'll have to look into that and see if I can post it on there. But there is a listserv just for the video folks, right? So maybe that's a good one to post some links to some of these videos on audio noise removal and correction for video production. That might help folks.
So Victor, this is David. The listservs are actually in the process of being replaced by the forums.
Ah, okay.
And so if you go into the individual learning communities, the forums are toward the bottom of the page.
Okay.
And basically anybody who's a member of that LC can post
awesome.
Any discussion thread there.
Yeah, Deb can't hear you, or Heather, sorry, as Deb. Yeah, you have to be logged in to access those, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll put some links, go in there a little bit later and post some links on there that you guys can look at that do much better instruction denied, but I figured I could show what I did with this particular piece and the results of it.
Oh, and Victor, you had a question in the chat about if you had any tips to avoid picking up that kind of interference in the first place.
The digital interference or the audio stuff. So I don't know how Devin recorded this. The digital stuff, it's usually from a mic being too close on a camera. I know some of the onboard camera mics on the cameras will actually pick up all the digital noises from the camera itself. So if you have an external mic that you can get away, plug into the camera, but have the mic farther away from the camera is one way of avoiding that, especially with the DSLRs. The professional video cameras, not so much, because they usually have, already the XLR connectors that you can connect a cable, or you have some type of a wireless mic. But yeah, trying to get the audio cables away from anything that produces electronic noise, like a computer, right? Or some other type of interference like that. That's for the digital stuff. For the audio, if you're out where it's wind, obviously there's actually a technical term for some of the shotgun things. They call them the dead cat. And it's just basically this like a furry sock that goes over the top of the mic to reduce the sound of the wind. So you're filtering it before it even gets to the recorder. And it's a lot easier to do it before than after in post. So yeah, if you can clean things up beforehand, then you don't have to worry about cleaning it up like this after the fact. This is more for those drastic measures when it's like, we got to fix it and we can't go back and shoot it anymore. Good question. Any other tips from you guys? You guys shoot a lot more video than I haven't shot much video in a long time. Lately, I've just been using my iPhone to do live Facebook Live video streaming, and I'm pure, just holding this thing, not even using any special mic or anything, just going off the mic, off the camera itself. So,
well, and this would be just a tip for somebody who's new at this.
mm-hmm.
Be sure and do all your audio stuff with really high quality headphones or actual speakers, not computer speakers. You won't hear those highs and lows.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. I usually use the headphones here, but at home I do have my audio monitors, some Behringer's BX8s, I think so. So you can, definitely hear all of those different frequencies. And Heather says that they moved the forums to the top. So now when you log in, they should be at the top, not at the bottom. Thank you. All right, Heather, you can go ahead and stop this recording and share it out on the forum later. Thank you, everyone, for spending some time. Hopefully some of this was helpful. And definitely know that it is possible. It might take a little bit more work sometimes, and you have to decide, well, is it worth doing it in post, or should I just reschedule and go and shoot it again? Up to you.
Thanks, Victor. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks.